Hey there! Why hello! Pleased to see you again. Today we're going to have a look at this pen. This pen was sent to me by my friend Bill, who is extremely kind, and I was very, very happy at the last DC show to actually meet him, because we have been corresponding for quite a while. Bill has also sent me several pens that have ended up on this channel as reviews. I was looking for this pen. I wanted to buy one every time something interrupted and I didn't, finish the transaction or whatever. And then suddenly this ended up in my mailbox and I had one, which is amazing because I know a lot of people have requested reviews for this pen. So, without further ado, let's do it. Bill, thanks a lot. Not just for me, on behalf of all the viewers who wanted one. So that's awesome. Okay, nice box. Lingmo is a Chinese company, and forgive me if I mispronounce the name. It was also a new company to me. I mean, I know the standards. There's Jinhao, there's Hero, there's Duke. I mean, there's these the companies that a lot of people know, and there's a few that are maybe a little bit more obscure. But Lingmo to me was new, so I was excited to try this out. Nice box. You have the very nice cardboard sleeve, which I really like. And then there is this box, which is interesting. Has an interesting texture to it. Reminded me a little bit of a Twisby box, but this is really not bad at all. It says Lingmo there. I'm going to open it up. Here's the pen. I'll show you that in a second. They have a little sort of, I don't know, rubber bed which you can take out. Use as a mask. And work, you vicious bastard. Okay, this comes out very easily. It's the it's filling instructions, which is cool. I mean, I like that, and a description which is written in Asian characters, and unfortunately I cannot read it. But what is interesting, and I mean I'm serious, I find that interesting, is that they do give the measurements of the pen. Which makes a reviewer's life a little easier, because that means we don't have to pull out the measurement device. Calipers is their name. That's kind of neat, but I like that. So you have an idea of the size of the pen. Okay, let's talk about this pen. This one I found on eBay as the Lingmo Lorelei. Very interesting choice of a German name. But I think you can find them from other brands too, which often happens, I find, with Chinese pens, that you can get the same model from different brands. I assume because they're all made in the same factory or something, but I'm not 100% sure of that. In any case, what we have here is a pen that is only slightly reminiscent of the Sailor 1911. This is a Sailor 1911 large. And this would be a Sailor 1911 standard, which indeed has that center band like that. Clearly this is a very, very 1911 inspired pen. Okay, let's cover the past of the pen, tell what I like about it, what I don't like about it, and then we'll do a writing sample. Top of the pen, finial, not much going on. This is the clear model. We have the clip. Very cool. It's transparent cap here, so you can see the nib and the feed, which I kind of like. You have a nice center band, which says it says Lingmo, and that's it. Then there is the barrel, converter filled pen. You can see that the converter is in there. End of the barrel, there's nothing really going on there, and the cap screws off. Pleasant. Not a lot of rotations required. I say this especially for Alex, because I know you're waiting for that. Section, right? Also nice, transparent. You can see the feed. It's a cool feature. This is clearly a pilot type nib, pilot Plumix or pilot penmanship. Pilot 78G, they all have the same nib, so you can pull that out, and I'm pretty sure you can put on a pilot nib if you have one, which is interesting because it gives you more nib options. This is a fine nib. It says Lingmo Fine. It's a steel nib, and that's it. One thing that I really enjoyed is that it's a transparent feed. So if you take a very careful look, you can see the breather hole, you see, of the nib kind of through the feed, which I think is nice. I'm using a dark blue ink here, or green ink, I forgot, but something dark. So the feed has kind of taken on that color, but it's an interesting feed. I like clear feeds, I don't know why, I always have. Barrel unscrews, of course. Interesting, has a little rubber O-ring there. I wonder if they thought people would be eyedroppering this. It looks like a fairly solid barrel. I have not tried to eyedropper it. When you blow it, no air comes out. But I do feel a tiny little ridge here at the very end. I wonder if that would let liquid pass, so it would leak out. That little rubber O-ring is not necessarily for eyedroppering. It could also be simply to keep the barrel in place, which is actually very effective, because I've had more than one plastic pen like this, where when you unscrew the cap, the whole thing unscrews or something. So it's nice. It does really keep the section in there tightly. Finally, there is the converter. A simple converter, also labeled Lingmo, comes with a converter, and it's just a converter. There's nothing particularly fancy about that. Interesting shape, very wide mouth, so not a standard international. Okay, what do I like about the pen? What do I not like about the pen? Well, it has some things going for it, I must say. First of all, I checked them on eBay. You can find them. I found a couple for under $20. Bill got his for about 12, so I mean that's pretty good. You get a converter, you have what's basically an interchangeable nib, which easily fits other nibs of that kind, like as I said, the Pilot nibs, and it's not a bad size. For me, it's a little bit on the small size, but it's definitely usable, and if you want to, it posts very securely and quite deeply, just like the Sailor 1911 standard. So you get a very comfortable pen size, I would say. I mean, this is a comfortable pen size. It's not huge, but it's definitely comfortable. The section is pleasant to hold. There is quite some space there, so you can definitely hold that even with bigger fingers. No issues. Pleasant. Also, the pen wrote out of the box. Perfect. Well tuned. I had a couple of skips, mainly on very smooth paper, but on most of the paper I used, most of the writing I did, it was actually very good. You can always tune it a little bit, of course. In my experience, a lot of Chinese pens, for me, could be a little bit wetter, so I open up the nib tines just a little bit, and usually then they flow back when they don't skip so much anymore. But with this one, I didn't really have any big issues. Demonstrators, or clear pens, I should officially say, are always popular, and I mean, you kind of understand why. It just looks cool, you can see all the parts. I like that there is a clear inner cap, so you can actually see the nib. I think that's all great. A nice pen for the money is what I would say. Surprisingly nice box. I think it's pretty cool. If you can get this for 12 bucks, I don't think that's a bad deal. What do I not like so much about it? Well, you can have long or short discussions about it, but it's a 1911 standard. Full stop. No doubt about it. That's what they went for, even down to the shape of the center band. It's a 1911 standard. It's just the way the pen looks. But in a way, one advantage of this is, if you are considering a 1911 standard, not the large, as I said, this is the large, and there is quite a difference between the two. I didn't have a standard at hand, I'm sorry. If you're considering getting one, but you're not sure if it's really the right pen for you, you can always buy this first. Use it a bit and see if you like the shape. This is a bit lighter than the 1911s are, at least in my recollection, but you'll definitely get a feeling for the pen, for the shape, for the size, all that stuff. So I think that is kind of neat. I think it has quite a couple of things going for it, I must be honest. One thing I have heard, but that I have not experienced, is that people get cracks at the end of the barrel. As I said, I have not experienced that, so I can't comment on that. I don't know if that's common for all of these pens or for a subset or the early run or whatever. I have no idea. All I can say is I have not had this, and I've had this for a few weeks now and not have had any issues. That's pretty much it. Stiff nib, but a nib that writes. That's really all I can say. The clip too is pretty stiff, but it works. So that's all. I think we just need to see it in action. That's what's coming up next. Bill, thanks a lot for sending me this pen. I appreciate it. I know that a lot of people wanted to see this, so there you go. Let's see how it writes. High resolution pictures as well as measurements of the pen will be on the website, sbrebrown.com. Hope this was useful so far, and I'll gladly see you later. Bye bye. Okay, so here we go with the Lingmo Lorelei in the fine nib, Franklin Christoph Midnight Emerald is the ink. Oh, emerald. Live with it. Okay. Fine nib. Definitely some feedback as you write, but I don't find it really scratchy. Bit fast writing. You see, there is the occasional skip, so as I said, I would probably make this a little wetter because I think it's maybe the dryness that's the issue, although it does have good flow. So maybe it's the polishing. I would really have to examine that. But in normal writing, I mean, it really performed well, I would say. Line variation. I find it a fairly stiff nib. Yes, I mean, you can sort of squeeze out some line variation, but you do really have to push down quite a bit to get to that. Reverse writing definitely gets scratchier, but you also get a finer line, and for some people that may be worth it. And that's all there's to it. Bill, thanks a lot. I appreciate it. I know this was eagerly anticipated by many, so thanks again. Hope this was useful. Oops, sorry about the noise. And I'll gladly see you later. Bye bye.
Bye.